The Richard is a character I developed the very day of the 20th of July, 2009. I did this because I got out of high school, and I had a little bit more of a dark time in my life. I didn't know where I was really going. I was starting an apprenticeship as a house painter. I don't know if I would do it again or not. I still love the fact that I did it, because being a craftsman, being a journeyman, still gives you a lot of experience. I actually don't regret it, but at that time I was kind of like, down, because I always wanted to do something that had to do with creative arts. I've been a wrestling fan for, ever since I started watching at the age of 9 or something. I really developed a habit, a passion for it when I was 13. That's probably the reason because I'm still into this whole, English thing. And I really love to speak English. I really love entertainment, and I really love sports. And there's only one art form of entertainment which can give you this whole package, and that is professional wrestling. In wrestling, you have these characters where these goofy guys come around, they entertain people, and they're the good guys or the bad guys, they're the funny guys. And I always wanted to be part of it. So I developed, while I was working out, after, doing my painting job, I was working out, I was, running, a lot of times in the week. I wanted to develop something to motivate me and to show others, especially to show others that I'm more than this goofy guy. So I developed this character, and I guess it was winter by 2009. I joined the EWP, the European Wrestling Promotion in Hanover. I started training there. I really started to get into the whole business. I was looking forward to that, and it was kind of great. But, when the time came, I realized when you're trying to get into professional wrestling, you have to show something with your body. You're not just going out there, having great charisma, and then you're doing all the mic work and everybody gets out. It was more like, especially the people in Germany, which are not that kind of used to the not so familiar anti-WWE wrestling movement, that it's not like just going out there doing mic work. It was more like you had to show that you have the muscles, that you're a real wrestler.
Weltmeisterschaft im Schwergewicht, Cannonball Grizzly, 185 Kilo gegen Thunder aus England. Das sind zwei Maschinen, die aufeinandertreffen. Da möchte ich nicht im Ring dabei sein.
To help you with that, people used steroids. One time we were getting off the ring, and we got to the locker room, and one of my colleagues there said, "Dude, I know you're not into drugs, but if you want to make it, and I know you want to make it as hard as I wanted, you have to do it." I told him, "No, I'm not gonna do it." And he then told me, "You'll be done. You won't get any attention by the people." Instead of showing him that I could do it without it, I quit. I said, "No, this is not it. I don't want to be the guy that gets into the business, the big bulky wrestling business, where everybody's just fighting and there's no entertainment, no real entertainment behind it." The thing that was left, that I still had the character. I was still working out. For kind of a moment, I thought, why not use this whole thing to entertain your people, your friends, when you're going out, when you're having a party? Why not entertain them with this? And I thought about it, and it really worked out. We had, my hometown, we had this little, party club, I might call it. It was more kind of a bar. I was just doing my thing. I was the Richard. I was the Richard at that time. We had a very big hype. For this little city, I think we had a big hype. Everything was going great. It was really cool. It started to develop more and more. It started to grow, really, and I really enjoyed it. It wasn't just that I was living out my failed wrestling career. It was more like people wanted to see me entertain them. And that was the Richard. That was this goofy wrestler coming out. I was famous for speaking English all the time, so a lot of people got attracted by it, and a lot of people had fun with it. I think the real deal about the Richard is, and why he's still here, He's here because a lot of people think it's pretty funny when a guy goes out and brings people to laugh. And I make people laugh. Gotta tell you, I make people laugh. Whether they laugh about me or the funny things I'm doing, I still make them laugh. I still make them laugh. I can go out and say, I make people laugh. That's the same thing that I do with my Instagram account. I have not, 1K followers or something like that. I have a very small community of people that follow me, and these people know me. They know about the Richard, and I think the greatest thing for me was to experience that, especially when they invented the story mode.
Yeah, and the British Army. Only with our subs.
That I could really show the Richard again. We're all in our business lives. We're all grown up now. It's not 2009 anymore. Everybody has to do a job or has to go to study, has to go to university. I think that's a little way to connect with people without seeing them every single Saturday at a party. I still think people laugh about it, and I still know that people laugh about it because every time the Richard dropped a funny Instagram story or Donald Trump, another character that I developed, I don't know how it went down. I somehow, got a little bit too much into politics, I guess. I love to impersonate people. Donald Trump is, we all know it, he's the #1 guy if you want to impersonate someone who's funny, someone who's out of control. I'm not saying that I don't like Donald Trump, and this should not be a political statement, but I think it's funny to impersonate Donald Trump. People know that, and people really told me, hey dude, you got what it takes, you really sound like Donald Trump. And I love that, and I love the fact that I can make people laugh throughout this whole Donald Trump thing. But I think that I now reached a level, especially with the Richard, not so Donald Trump, because he's new, he's something special, he's not something that has a real philosophy in my life. The Richard is some kind of a philosophy for my life, because the Richard always shows up when I don't feel so good. When I, myself, don't feel so good, the Richard shows up, he makes people laugh, and that gives me the little thought in the back of my head like, you're making people laugh, so why not laugh by your own? And I think every time I'm down, and there are certain times now where I'm not in a pretty good mood. I think people that know my WhatsApp statuses know about that. Sometimes I really get into a dark mood. The only thing I want to do is to break out of it. And I think the Richard is, or was, for me, the greatest platform to show that that I can be somebody else. That I can be not the guy that's in a bad mood. That I'm the guy that goes out there, entertains people, goes home. The strong warrior. That is the philosophy behind the Richard. I think that's because the Richard got old. I think it took a lot of time of my personal life. It's a created character. This is not me. I always want to be like this guy, but it's not me. In reality, I am not the Richard. I am not that crazy cool guy that goes out there, that American warrior that goes out there and drinks Bud Light and has the party. Every time he goes out there, he has a party of his own. I am not the Richard. I am Richard. Just Richard. And I think this whole thing should show everybody that I have a personal life. This is not me. And even though sometimes people might say, even though you're not the Richard, you're still crazy as I just can't disagree with that. I am a crazy guy, but I'm not that crazy. I hope you people enjoyed the time I was the Richard, and I think that we can still laugh about other things, but the Richard, maybe one day the Richard will come back, he will kick ass, and then he goes again. But I don't think that the Richard will ever return on a steady level. Okay, we have to cut the shit now, right? Okay, the Richard's gone. So what we're gonna do? What we're gonna do with the Richard? What we're gonna do with the rest of our lives? There is a life. There's your own life. Go out there and earn it. And better not believe that any of you fuckers out there has a chance of getting even with the Richard. There's only one guy that entertains the crowd as much as I do. And that is the Richard. No one else. If you know what the Richard is cooking.
This summer, a legend returns. Oh my God! Hulkamania lives! Legend is back. WWE SummerSlam, live Sunday, August 20th.
Hello, Jack, and congratulations on your birthday. Finally, our Richard has come back to North Dakota.
And I'm on the rock here. We bet on that.
You ain't seen love, ain't seen nothing like me. She's only 17. Yeah, 17.
This is what wrestling is all about? I don't think so. Finally, Father Richard has come back to his hometown.
Such a bad girl, loves to work me over. Time feels good, dancing close to the borderline. She's a magic mountain, she's a leather glove. Oh, she's my soul, it must be love. She's only 17.
Hey, you. Right there. Yeah, you, the one watching with your girlfriend right now. Let me tell you something, dude. There's only one thing that you need to realize to become a real man. That you need these big pumps, brother. But there's only one way to do it. First off, you gotta train your ass off with the real heavyweights, dude. But then you get decide to train with the real weight, brother. The only 18 cans of the real Bud Light merchandise of the NFL starter kit, which gives you a real feeling of pumping the iron. Alter. Alter Scheiße. Das ist auch noch live auf Kamera. Guckt euch das an. Ich hab das Bud Light dahin gekippt. Ach du Scheiße. Das war hart.